fast approaching, and I thought I would like to share this little Christmas pudding gift box with you. If you want the template, then all you have to do is email me and I'll send you the PDF so that you've got time to make a few of these little pudding boxes to put on your Christmas dinner table this year. I just wanted to say thank you really to everyone that subscribed to me while I've been making videos for my YouTube channel. I hope that I've given you a little bit of inspiration along the way, and I really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to leave a comment and to subscribe. So if you'd like to make some of these cute little boxes, all you have to do is send me an email. So pop along to my blog and you'll find my email link on my sidebar. So I will send you the file for this template so that you can print it out onto some lightweight card. It doesn't have to be bright orange like this one, but it just needs to be as thick as you can print it. So whatever the thickness of cardstock your printer will accept, then that's the thing to print it out on. And then you're going to carefully cut the template out. Now the thing that I'll say, because this is a handmade template, something that I've drawn, you just need to be a little bit careful that you cut directly on the lines, and in particular in this little narrow area, that you go right down to that octagon at the bottom. So it takes a little while. Make sure that you cut it out accurately and you'll get a better result on your Christmas pudding boxes as you put them together. So I found that the easiest way to cut these little wedges out of the template is to literally do them at the end and snip into the middle of the template. So that's what I'm going to suggest you do. Don't turn your scissors round at the top, at the point of this little wedge shape. Literally cut down each side of the wedge so that your scissors meet in the middle, and you'll get a much neater effect, and you'll be able to trim right up to that octagon in the centre. So to make your puddings, you want to pick something that looks like icing, so I'm using this one, and you want something to look like a pudding, so a brown patterned cardstock for the base of the box. And then you're going to carefully transfer or draw around your template. Now the trick is that you really do need to get right to the point of the template, so you might have to move some of the sides out of the way so you can draw right up to that octagon. So use a pencil and work on the wrong side or the reverse of the cardstock that you're using to make what will be the top of the Christmas pudding gift box. If you're using 12 by 12 sheets of cardstock, then you'll be able to get 4 puddings out of 2 sheets, so 1 sheet of brown and 1 sheet of cream or white, and you'll be able to get 4 puddings out of that. So as you can see, I'm taking the time to make sure that I draw right up to that point. And if this was a commercially made template, they'd probably be able to allow your pencil to go right into that point. So it's just definitely worth taking that time to make sure you mark right up to that octagon in the centre of this template piece. And once you've gone all the way around, the next thing that you want to do is mark the position of all the score lines. So the dotted lines that you see will be the lines that you're going to score with an embossing tool. So I'm just marking the ends of those lines. And the other thing that you need to do is take the octagon base template and you're going to position that, and you'll be able to see from the lines that you've drawn where that sits, and you just want to draw around that octagon base. And the next step before you cut it out, nearly made a mistake there, you're going to take a ruler and a fine ball embossing tool, and you're going to emboss each of the lines that you've marked. So they create the score or fold lines for the tabs of your Christmas pudding top. So matching up the points of the octagon base to the little marks that you made on the lid, and then going right round the curved sections, and that's where the little icing folds down onto the actual pudding base itself. And then once you've put all your score lines in, you're going to score around the base, and then you're ready to cut out because you don't need those crop marks anymore. And again, make sure that you cut right up to that octagon in the centre. The more accurate you are, the neater the finish on your little Christmas pudding box will be. Once you've cut it all out, then you're ready to fold on your score lines. So starting with the base and using a bone folder just to make sure that those are creased nice and sharp. Then I'm going round and creasing little curved sections. And then finally, and it's a little bit trickier just to get that point of the little tab that's going to join the sides together right down to the bottom. You're going to fold each of those little triangles over and press them down well. Remove any of your pencil marks with an eraser. And then you're ready to repeat that process, this time using the brown cardstock and the base template. Now I've got this little glittery 12 by 12 sheet, and you can see here that you could easily fit 4 of these bases. You would normally use a pencil to draw around, but I just wanted you to see what I'm doing, so I'm using this white pen. It's not working very well, but I think you'll get the gist of what I'm doing. And again, you're going to mark in where the dotted lines are, ready to score, to line up your ruler and score down those lines. Again, making sure I go right up to the point in between each of these sections. And then I'm going to again put the same little octagon. It does say base, but it works for the base and the top. And I'm just drawing around that with my pencil. And then I remembered I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. I think you could see that on camera, but I'm just going to go around it again with my white pencil just so you can see. And each of the tips of the octagon marry up to each one of those triangle sections that we're going to cut away from the base. And I can hear you shouting, "What are you doing, Helen? You should be scoring the lines first." And oh, I've remembered. So okay, take your ruler and again the fine embossing tool. This time you've only got the one score line on each of the sides. This is actually going to be the base of the Christmas pudding, and then you also want to score around that octagon. So I'm going to carry on with the cutting out of my sides. And then I'm going to score around the octagon. I think it's an octagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it is. And then once again, you're going to fold against that score line and fold in each of the little tabs that we're going to join the base of this box together with. You want a nice strong glue that dries fairly quickly. I like my Cosmic Shimmer, and then you're going to work your way around the base of the box, and you're going to line up those triangles so that the side or the cut edge of the side that's next to the triangle marries up to the score line on the tab that you're gluing into position. And I'm just using my bone folder to make sure that those little tabs are well and truly secure. You wouldn't want them popping open and dropping out all the little gifts that we're going to put into them. I quite like this paper. It really does look festive and just give you a little hint of a fruity Christmas pudding. You could quite easily take this template and make a little cupcake box by changing the colours of the papers that you use to put this little box together. And then you're going to repeat that process with the little triangles on each of the sides of the top of the box. They really do come together quite quickly. Probably the longest job is actually cutting them out. So I could quite easily do this in a lovely pastel pink or blue and decorate it up, perhaps put a faux candle on the top and make little cupcakes. But we're going all Christmassy and we're going to turn this into a festive Christmas pudding. Next we want to join our two pieces together to make our little gift box. So we want to join the top to the bottom, and you're going to use the little part of the template that says Hinge, and you can decide to cut your hinge out of whichever colour cardstock you like, and obviously when it sits on the base it's going to be the wrong colour. So once you've scored it and cut it out, then you're going to stick half of it onto the other colour of cardstock. So just all you need is a little scrap, and I decided I was being a little bit wasteful here, so I found one of my little scraps, and you're going to glue it to the bottom half of the hinge so that when it sits inside the Christmas pudding base it will match in and won't be white. So when you glue it into the top, it's going to sit at the score line of the icing, so where that little curved section is, that's where the fold of your hinge should be, and then the rest of it is glued down inside the pudding base, which forms the base of the box. So then I decided that I wanted a little bit of Christmas glitz on my box, and I'm just dotting stickles all along the shape, if you like, so all along the folded areas or the scored areas of the box, so right round each of the side panels, and then following that curve of the what would be your brandy butter dripping down the top of your Christmas pudding, and it just adds a little bit of festive sparkle. This could also be done using a glue pen and some dry glitter, or perhaps some of the perfect pearls would also work. So once you've stickled or decorated the top of the box, you're going to need to put it to one side to dry, and we can get on with some of the other embellishments. Next I'm going to cut out the little tag shape, and this will be the place where you can write the person's name of who is going to sit at that spot on your Christmas dinner table, or if you're just using it as a gift box, the person who's lucky enough to receive a little present wrapped in a pretty little Christmas pudding box. Next you want to make two holly leaves, and I didn't have a piece of glittery green cardstock to use, so I'm attaching some paper to some card, and then I'm cutting out my two holly leaves. So I've got this metallic green paper and I've just stiffened it with a little bit of card, and then I'm covering the reverse side so that both sides are covered with green paper. I mean, if you had a double-sided cardstock, that would work just as well. And I'm just using my embossing tool just to add a little edge and the vein that runs down the centre of the holly, and then I'm just shaping each of the leaves slightly with my fingers. And you can see from my change of sleeves that I'm finishing this video on day 2, and I've been busy decorating my house and putting the Christmas lights up, so I'm coming back now to finish off this video so I can get this up and shared with you all. So I've got my two leaves all made and ready to put on the top of my books. My stickles are dry, and I just wanted to put a coloured edge onto my tag, and I'm just going to do that with a little bit of red cardstock to match the berries that I'm going to put on the top of my Christmas pudding. So just using a little bit of double-sided tape to attach it to a scrap of red cardstock that I hope matches the hue of the beads I'm going to use for my holly berries. And then it's time to write the name of the person that's going to receive this little gift wrapped in a Christmas pudding. And like I said before, you can use these as a place setting on your Christmas dinner table, and they work quite well, and you can give a little gift of chocolates or something small. You could even use them in place of Christmas crackers, although quite frankly it's fun to have both. So I'm writing to the one I love, and then we're ready to put the final finishing touches on the top of our Christmas pudding, and I like to fix everything in place with some silicone glue. Now I've been using my little Christmas pudding place markers for a couple of years now, so they do last, and that's why I like to use the silicone glue to attach the little bits and pieces to the top of the pudding to make sure that nothing falls off while they're put away in my attic, ready to be brought out again for next year's Christmas dinner. So I've shaped the little holly leaves, and then I'm adding a little dot of the pin flare glue and attaching them to the top of the Christmas pudding. Then I'm going to attach my tag, and if you attach it so that it's at a slight angle so that you can read it at the dinner table, and then you could attach 3 red beads if you wanted to, but I didn't have any of the right shade or size for the top of my Christmas pudding, so I'm just putting on a little blob of the pin flare and then attaching some glass beads, and it's quite a fun effect. It looks a little bit more like a raspberry than a holly berry, but it looks quite nice, and I'm quite happy with it. So I'm creating 3 of these little mounds covered in red glass beads to represent the berries of my holly. So there you have it, one very cute Christmas pudding gift box ready to use this Christmas. And don't forget, you could also decorate this in a slightly different way and turn it into a cupcake for a birthday later on in the year. So this one's filled up with chocolates, but it definitely can't be for me because my favourite's Ferrero Rocher. So I might have to make myself another pudding and fill it with the chocolates that I like. So the next video that I'll be sharing will be for a cute paper Christmas bauble that I think you might like to make. I've made a few to decorate my Christmas tree and I wanted to share them with you. There's no template required, but for this one, if you want the template, don't forget to nip along to my blog, and I'll put all the links at the end of this video, and just check out on my sidebar. You'll find the link that leads to my email. Send me an email and I will send you your template. So a big thank you to you for subscribing to me, and thank you for watching.